Have you ever stood at the edge of a life decision and felt your heart race for no clear reason? Maybe you were about to choose a career, confess your love, leave a toxic situation, or take a risk that could change everything. In that moment, you felt something strange. It was not just fear. It was deeper, heavier, almost like your soul was shaking. You wondered why freedom, something we all desire, can sometimes feel so terrifying. Over 200 years ago, a man asked the same question. His name was Søren Kierkegaard, and his ideas still echo inside the struggles of modern human life. Søren Kierkegaard was born in 1813 in Copenhagen, Denmark, into a family that lived under the shadow of deep religious beliefs and emotional intensity. His father was a serious and thoughtful man who believed life was filled with guilt, responsibility, and spiritual consequences. From a young age, Kierkegaard grew up listening to philosophical discussions and religious reflections that forced him to think deeply about existence. While other children played and lived carefree lives, Kierkegaard was already wrestling with questions that most people avoid even as adults. He learned early that life is not just about survival or comfort. It is about understanding who we are and why we exist. As a young man, Kierkegaard studied philosophy and theology at the University of Copenhagen. He read famous philosophical works that were praised across Europe. But instead of feeling inspired, he felt disappointed. He believed these philosophers talked about life like it was a distant theory instead of something deeply personal and emotional. He saw scholars discussing human existence as if it were a puzzle to solve, ignoring the pain, fear, love, and confusion that real people feel every day. This frustration pushed Kierkegaard to create a philosophy that focused not on abstract ideas but on the raw experience of being human. One of Kierkegaard's most powerful contributions was his exploration of anxiety, which he called angst. But his idea of anxiety was very different from how we usually understand it. Today, anxiety is often treated as a medical or psychological disorder. For Kierkegaard, anxiety was something much deeper. He believed anxiety is a natural response to being alive and aware. It is a feeling that appears when we realize that life is full of endless possibilities and unknown outcomes. Imagine standing on the edge of a high cliff. You feel fear because you might fall. But Kierkegaard said there's another hidden feeling. You are also afraid because you realize that you could jump. That realization, that terrifying awareness of your freedom, creates anxiety. It is not just fear of danger. It is fear of your own power to choose. This is why Kierkegaard famously said, "Anxiety is a dizziness of freedom." From the moment we are born, we are thrown into a world that offers countless paths but guarantees nothing. Every day we face choices. Some are small, like what to eat or what to wear. Others shape our entire future, like who to marry, what career to choose, or what values to live by. Each choice carries responsibility. Each choice closes one door while opening another. This responsibility creates anxiety because deep inside, we know that our decisions define who we become. Think about a young student standing at the crossroads of life. One path leads to a safe job with stability and approval from family. Another path leads to a risky dream that could bring passion but also failure. The student feels anxiety not because he is weak but because he understands the weight of his freedom. Kierkegaard believed this anxiety is proof that we are conscious beings capable of shaping our destiny. Modern life has made this anxiety even stronger. We live in a world filled with endless choices. Social media shows us thousands of lifestyles, careers, relationships, and success stories every single day. We are constantly comparing ourselves with others. We feel pressure to make perfect decisions, fearing that one wrong move will ruin our future. This overwhelming flood of options often leaves people feeling stuck, confused, and emotionally exhausted. But Kierkegaard saw something powerful hidden inside anxiety. He believed anxiety is not an enemy. It is a teacher. It forces us to look deeper into ourselves. It pushes us to ask meaningful questions. It reminds us that our lives matter and that our choices have purpose. According to him, the difference between a meaningful life and an empty life depends on how we respond to anxiety. Many people try to escape anxiety. They distract themselves with endless entertainment, unhealthy habits, or constant busyness. They avoid silence because silence forces them to confront their thoughts. They follow societal expectations without questioning them because it feels safer to blend in than to stand alone. Kierkegaard warned that this escape leads to despair. A person may appear successful or happy on the outside, but feel empty inside because they never truly lived according to their authentic self. Kierkegaard introduced another powerful idea to help people face anxiety. He believed passion is a key to transforming anxiety into strength. Passion gives life direction and meaning. It can appear in many forms. It can be love for another person, dedication to art, commitment to a cause, pursuit of knowledge, or spiritual devotion. Passion gives people a reason to wake up every morning and face life's uncertainties with courage. However, Kierkegaard emphasized that true passion must be rooted in what he called subjective truth. Subjective truth means finding what feels deeply meaningful to you personally, not what society tells you should matter. He believed every person has a unique path and unique purpose. He wrote, "The crucial thing is to find a truth which is true for me, to find the idea for which I am willing to live and die." These words carry a powerful emotional weight. They remind us that life is not about copying others, but about discovering our own reason to exist. Imagine a musician who loves creating music, but is pressured by family to become a doctor. If he chooses medicine only to satisfy others, he may achieve success but feel disconnected from his true self. But if he follows his passion for music, he might face uncertainty, financial struggles, and criticism. Yet, he may feel deeply alive because he is living according to his subjective truth. Kierkegaard believed real fulfillment comes only when we have the courage to choose authenticity over comfort. To live according to subjective truth requires what Kierkegaard called a leap of faith. This leap does not mean blind belief. It means trusting your inner voice even when there is no guarantee of success. It means stepping into uncertainty with courage. Every major decision in life requires this leap. Falling in love requires trusting another person without knowing if the relationship will last. Starting a business requires investing time and effort without knowing if it will succeed. Choosing a life purpose requires believing in yourself without receiving constant approval from others. This leap of faith is emotionally intense because it forces us to face our deepest fears. But Kierkegaard believed that without this leap, life becomes shallow and mechanical. He argued that true self-realization can only happen when we accept uncertainty and continue moving forward despite our fears. Kierkegaard also warned against the dangers of conformity. Society often creates invisible rules about what success, happiness, and respect should look like. Many people follow these rules without questioning them. They choose careers, relationships, and lifestyles that match social expectations instead of personal desires. Kierkegaard believed conformity slowly destroys individuality. It turns people into copies of each other, living safe but emotionally empty lives. He encouraged people to embrace solitude and self-reflection. In moments of silence, we hear our true thoughts without external noise. We begin to understand our fears, desires, and motivations. Solitude can feel uncomfortable because it removes distractions, but it is essential for discovering our authentic identity. Kierkegaard believed that people who never spend time alone often spend their entire lives running away from themselves. Another powerful idea in Kierkegaard philosophy is that anxiety can act as a compass. When we feel anxious about a decision, it often means that decision carries importance and potential growth. For example, a person might feel anxious about expressing their feelings to someone they love. The anxiety signals that the moment is meaningful. Avoiding it might feel safe, but confronting it could lead to emotional growth and deeper connection. Kierkegaard believed that human development happens through struggle. Comfort rarely produces transformation. When we face anxiety and continue moving forward, we discover hidden strengths within ourselves. We learn resilience, courage, and self-awareness. Over time, anxiety loses its power to control us and becomes a reminder that we are alive and capable of change. He also understood that the journey toward authenticity is not easy. It involves pain, doubt, and loneliness. There will be moments when people question our choices or reject our path. But Kierkegaard believed that living truthfully always leads to deeper fulfillment than living safely according to others' expectations. Kierkegaard philosophy carries a timeless message. Every human being must eventually face the question of who they truly are and what they truly want. Anxiety is not a barrier to this discovery. It is a doorway. By stepping through this doorway with courage, passion, and faith in our personal truth, we begin to live lives filled with depth, purpose, and authenticity.